going on, guys? So just jumping on here with the good old Holcomb 2017 SE. Really just in love with this guitar. It's got all the best sounds in it that you would really ever want. The bridge pickup, as I was talking to one of my friends on my comment section, the bridge pickup has kind of like this mid-honk profile that's, I understand why it's there, to help you cut through the mix when when you're periphery and you have 3 guitars on stage and stuff and you have all this sound going on. So you definitely need like a mid-profiled guitar pickup to cut through the mix. I personally think that it's okay. It's not a bad deal. I think it provides a great contrast between the neck single coil, which is like my favorite aspect of this guitar, right? Is a neck single coil. Yeah, I really love the neck single coil on this guitar, and the neck humbucker isn't bad either. One other thing, that when these pickups are in single coil mode, they tend to drive more, right? Like, I don't know if I'll be able to demonstrate it, but I was watching my clip levels a few minutes ago while I was playing through the neck single, and when I went to the neck humbucker, it's like the neck humbucker has a more rounded bottom end centric tone, but I feel like the diametric magnets, right, in the humbucker provide a lot more compression to the signal than when it's just one magnet, right, one pole, one coil. And so I always find that when I'm playing this in single coil mode, because when you set up your interface, you want to dial up the guitar to red, then back off a little bit and chug until there's no more red, like on a Focusrite. And when I do that in humbucker mode, then I immediately switch to single coil mode and I'm doing the same riffs, I'm clipping, right? And so the single coils are definitely on this guitar a lot more, I would say, punchy and a lot more direct. Right, it's crazy how that works. Because usually on guitars, humbuckers, that is, when you split your coil, you have a drop in the overall signal. On this guitar, that's not necessarily the case. When you split your coil, I don't feel a drop in the signal. In fact, I feel like a more unleashing of the signal, but the frequency profile changes, right? So you get more on this VOX I'm playing right here. You get more of that jangle. That's the humbucker. Let's go back to the single. And then when you're in the bridge single, it doesn't sound bad at all. It sounds great. And see, this is where I feel like the evidence for a mid-shift profile change in the overall balancing of the pickups is very evident in the single coil bridge mode, also in the humbucking mode. We'll go from neck single to bridge single. You hear that quack? It's kind of like a quack to it. I definitely feel that the VOX is picking a lot of that up, right? Because the VOX historically is a very chimey, amp design, and then when you throw the single coil sound on it, right? Like, it just definitely changes. have any pedals on. This is just the amp, right? I'm running the TC Electronic Alter Ego in like the tape mode through the loop, and then this is just the amp reverb. I feel like it's a lot more spanky. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, it's definitely in the single coil bridge position that you feel the driving of the signal. Like when I looked up when I was playing through a little while ago, I felt like I heard it in my headphones, like, oh, that's a little brittle. And I looked at my little clip light right there, and I saw, yeah, okay, yeah, so I am clipping, right? Let's try the EP booster. Yeah, that EP booster definitely fills out a lot of the lower frequencies and gives a more rounded, fuller profile character to the overall signal, which is desirable. It gets a little flubby though. Yeah, you hear that? That was previously in the single, then I went to the full humbucker. Yeah, that sounds really big and bottomy, but it's also kind of flubby. Oh, right as I switched to single coil mode, my clip light came on. Yeah, this amp really loves the EP booster, something fierce. Yeah, you hear that? It's really beefy, huh? Yeah, I can feel it because my speaker, I'm running through the 4x12 cab right over here in this closet, and I can feel the 4x12 shaking the apartment. I can feel it in the floor right here, my feet. I can feel them tingling from that low end signal. That's crazy how full of character the VOX can be with the right setup, right? It's one of those amps that you really just can't quantify. And I said it in my previous video, and I'm just gonna have to say that again. And this is gonna be like a quote of mine that I feel like can really have relevance. It's that you can make a VOX sound like pretty much anything out there, but you can't make anything sound like a VOX, right? Like a VOX has its own vibe, its own groove, its own character and dynamic response, and I don't know, like this fullness of signal that with my high gain amps, you know, all my amps I have here, I felt like I was on a tone quest until I got the VOX. Like, you know, the VOX isn't the only amp to have, right? You need to have other amps. But if it was the only amp you had, it wouldn't be a bad deal, just like how the PV is, the 6505 MH. It's not the only amp to have, but if it was the only amp you had, you'd be okay. You wouldn't really need to go outside of the box. You know, if you're a tweaker kind of person like I am, where you just have a bunch of pedals and a bunch of different guitars and amps, and you just like to mess around with the sound profiles and kind of like taste, you know, like if you're at some high-end party and everybody's tasting wine, you're tasting cheese, you're just tasting all these things. If you're into that, like I am, you know, having the diametric signals is definitely something great to have. But that's not to say that if it was the only thing you had, that would be a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like the VOX definitely has a lot of character to it, and right now we're in the top boost. So let's jump on and play with the Archer. You tell me what you think about this. Yeah, the VOX with the Archer seemed to really favor that jangly high-end signal where there's like this spanky, I call it like a belch, like it just belches out the frequencies.